Hey guys, Dan here, and Badger with a tech talk. And Zach, there's Zach. All right, tech talk. Somebody sent me a video. Those idiots out there. Badger right to my lap. As soon as I start talking. Dude, really? Back off, back off. He was sleeping up there so nicely. As soon as I start talking, he's right up on me. All right. Yeah, I saw some ridiculous mod that idiot's telling people to use. Now, as for bolt, Patrick, get off my lap. As for firing pins and screws, what I recommend, I got the video out there. Modified firing pin, the best thing to do. This is a stainless steel firing pin, and this is a long stainless steel firing pin. First off, let me grab a stock one. Okay, here is a stock one. Now, biggest problem with let me turn a light on here too, so you can see what we're doing. All right, look at that light. All right, so here's a firing. Let me grab a firing pin with nothing in it. There are my firing pins. Firing pins. Crap all over the place. All right, now where the screw for the firing pin meets the bolt is right dead center here. Now, when you screw this is a regular half inch. When you screw this all the way in, well, the main problem is they don't Loctite them and they get loose. If it gets loose, it's going to break no matter what power, even if you're shooting at paintball power. If this gets loose, it's going to be moving on an angle, and when the bolt comes up, and if it's on an angle, it's going to snap it right off, no matter what. So always make sure it's tight. That's why I recommend red Loctite 271. Always Loctite your firing pin screw. Now, see that socket hole there? That goes about that deep. Basically, when you screw this all the way in, Patrick just is dying to be in this video. Dude, I'm making a video. You can't be right here. Down. The block. All right. So when you have this all the way down, that socket hole is right in the center there. And all the pressure is right there. That's what's in between the screw for the bolt and the screw for the firing pin hole. So that's why they snap very easily if they get loose. So number one, you always want to Loctite. You'll want to upgrade to a better stainless steel because the stock one is no good to begin with. What I do is, let me take this out. And I also put this isn't one of the ones I modified, but I put an X on the back so you can use a Phillips head screwdriver. It makes it a lot easier to install it. All right, so let me take this all the way out. What I do is I get a longer 6x32 by 1 inch or longer screw. I Loctite that into the firing pin. Oh, I got it backwards. Where's the hole? It's hard to see with these things on. All right, make sure you have your hole up that way. I Loctite this side in, twist it down with an Allen key. Then you measure the distance with your calipers of the old one from here to the outside of the pin. I forget what that is offhand, but you cut it. And to cut that, you can use wire strippers. Most all wire strippers come with a little screw cutting function on them. They cut 832 and 632. Mark your screw where it's got to be cut, and this one is a 632, so you stick it through that hole, screw it to where it's got to go, and then you cut it. They're kind of hard to cut, so what you do is you clamp it down, take a hammer or something weighted, boom, it'll cut right through it. And you don't have to clean up the end because when you thread it out, it cleans up the threads. So what that does, it gets rid of the socket hole so it's no longer weak. Now, some other genius on YouTube, it came out a great mod. Take a 632 button head screw and just screw it in here. Dumbest thing I've ever seen. But I've had guys actually do this mod. Like, yeah, I saw it on YouTube. It works fine, but now my firing pin's broken and I can't get the screw out. What do I do? Let me grab a button head screw. I don't have a 632 handy, but I got an 832. But basically, this is a button head. So the guy's using a 632 and he's screwing that down, and probably you're not even getting the right, unless you measure perfectly, you're not going to get the right size where the firing pin's going to end up right. But that's not the biggest problem. What guys like that don't understand that your bolt actually, most guys think air is what pushes your round and this just pushes the air, whatever. No, the bolt contacts your round. That's why it's got that little round divot in there. So when the round comes up to it, it hugs that little divot so it doesn't put all the pressure on one part of the bolt. Now, you put a screw in there like that, there's numerous problems with that. But the first one is it's going to start, it's going to, well, it can crack your rounds, but you're going to deform that hex head. Every round that goes by is going to keep denting this, and it's going to deform that, so you're never going to be able to get it out when it breaks. And also, there's two other bad things that it's doing. Now you're directly, all that force is going right into your firing pin. It's going on here, but this is all Loctited. When you Loctite it, your regular firing pin screw in there, it doesn't get impacted, so it's fine. But when you have red Loctite hardens, it's hard. So if you whack the screw, you'll crack the Loctite and it'll loosen up. Anything Loctite, you can't have impacting anything because it goes on wet, it hardens like ceramic. So if you have this Loctited and you're hitting this all the time, all it's going to do is the screw is going to move in and out in the threads, and it's going to crack that Loctite into dust. So it's actually going to make your firing pin loose and break all the time. It's a stupid mod. Whoever thought of it, it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall. Oh, this sounds like a good idea, but without testing. These guys don't test anything. They just think they got a good idea, and they do a YouTube video, and they tell people to do it without testing. Then a month down the road, they're like, oh, that was kind of a bad idea. Now my bolt's broken. And what happens is when you use a screw like this, you're going to start cracking your bolt. Not just your firing pin. You'll crack your actual bolt. I think I got some broken ones laying around. That one's not a broken one. There's a broken one. I usually say broken ones. All around here somewhere. But what happens is these parts crack out here, right here, right here. Because you're getting all that, that screw is putting all the strength right on these little canals right here. And you're going to end up breaking them. And then you need a whole new bolt. But you're going to deform the end, so you're not going to be able to get the damn thing out. But if this does happen to you, and you've been using this, what I recommend doing is taking a Dremel and putting a flat slot in it and using a screwdriver to screw it out. But don't use this mod. It's stupid. The guys that came up with it have no forethought whatsoever, and the problems are obvious. The Loctite problem, the impacting the round problem. It's just guys just have no forethought. They just want to get some content, put a video out so they get some money back from, views is all they care about. But it's a dumb mod, guys. If you're going to use it, look out for these problems. Keep checking it because it's going to loosen up, it's going to break, and then you're going to have a problem getting it out. It's just not smart. I got a video on the best ones to do. You can do them yourself. You don't have to buy shit off me. You can buy the screw yourself. What I recommend the most is the long one and cutting it back. But you can if you don't want to get that far into having to cut it, a 6x32 by ½ inch is the right size. That'll give you the perfect size enough into the firing pin and into the bolt where there's no gap in between. You don't want to have a gap in between. But remember to Loctite it with red 271. Let me show you. Because a bolt firing pin breaker is always when they get loose. That's the biggest problem. But when you use the small one, you got a real weak point because you have a hole in it. And you only got like 20 thou of actually metal right there where it needs it to be the strongest, where you need the whole actual screw. That's why I recommend doing the longer screw, 1 inch, and then cutting it back. All right, well, that's it for this, guys. I will see you on the next one, and stay safe.